ahead and do the prayer. For all the new people, you could watch if you don't want to partake. Face the east, 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Juali. Islam. Thanks, Daryl. Good. $1, right? You owe me $1. Huh? You know, I know. I have dealt with that kind of answer before. Huh? You don't have to say what's that dollar? What? Your suit time. Will be proclaimed in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Juali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali. Islam. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is still the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juali. Islam. Welcome everybody. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, in the introduction, the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927. So Noble Drew Ali made a reference to us as Muslim and the information coming from Muslim and we would have this always come up when we start talking about Islam, Allah, and Quran. The Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, not just what they would consider quote-unquote Muslim countries. The Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine also giving us the key of the origin that the Ashkenazis are claiming as their own. Because you will not even hear Palestine mentioned unless it's from people who are fighting for that. Other than that, they're talking about some Jewish whatever. So one of these Muslims of India, Lord Krishna, and the one of the divine ministers will say of this idea of Krishna consciousness, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And this is consciousness, the missing link. Now remember, we're talking about the people that would be normally classified as the Hindus, and then they have all these different animals as their gods or whatever. But their foundational lessons are based in what they got from their ancestors, where when we check the Hindu culture, they always have to mention the Mauryan dynasties or empires. Right? And then remember, the same Mauryan that they're repping is the same Mauryan who were the high priests of Anu, which is why they would say this is why Noble Drew Ali would make the reference of the Muslims of Egypt. Because according to quote-unquote black scholars, the Egyptians, they were studying chematology, ancient mystery schools, which shouldn't have anything to do with Islam. And in making reference to these Egyptians being Muslim, and then we go to the high priest of Anu, which is ancient Egypt, and the high priests were called Moor. There has to be some type of acceptance. In order to get to the next level, there has to be the acceptance that Islam is really where it's at, as far as your spiritual enlightenment, where you want to be. Because everybody is recognized as to being part of Islam. So you can go to, you can look up an article by Qasim Rashid, Qasim-Rashid. And the article is called "The Honorable Lord Krishna, a Prophet of Allah."
Yeah.
First, the Quran is the only ancient scripture that specifically mentions and praises other faiths, while the Quran mentions Jews and Christians specifically. In numerous places, likewise, it mentions Hindus in a group known as Sabians. Sabians refer to non-Abrahamic traditions: Hindus, Buddhists, Zoroastrians, Taoists, etc. Thus, recognition of Hinduism exists in the Quran. So the consciousness, the missing link. In the first part of this book, the basic principles of this science are discussed in a conversation between His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the world's foremost authority on Vedic philosophy, and Dr. George Benford, a professor of physics from the University of California. Prabhupada points out that Vedic principles, when properly understood, do not conflict with the factual findings of modern Western science. He observes, however, that the predominant perspective of modern science is too narrow, and that scientists err when they jump to the conclusion that their present picture of reality is complete in its essential features. He suggests that scientists can extend and perfect their understanding by systematically taking into account the higher principles of the Vedic science of self-realization. So when you're talking about Muslims, you're talking about self-realization. I, self-law, I'm master. When you're talking about Muslims, you're talking about self-realization, Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. Man realizing that him and the higher force is one thing. Right? As you research Lord Krishna, and then you find out about his connection, you see that they recognize him as a prophet, but they also recognize him as a God. He's on multiple different levels, right? This teacher is presenting in this chapter the goal of knowledge. He's pretending the idea that, same thing that Brother Kaba brought out, that spirituality and science are related. Science is just the physical manifestation of spirituality. And then this transcends all different cultures, all different religions. And again, going back to the fact that what Noble Drew Ali presented to the Moors in America was this exact replica of this ancient information put in a form for them to be able to realize their divine beings and start exercising from that place moving forward, opposed to where it is that we were. Yeah, brother.
I was going to ask you, maybe this will get us into some discussion, how the science of Islam, which is supposed to, I guess, be there for our salvation or reclamation, what particular modalities of that science are there to help that process. And can you explain, or can you maybe elaborate, or maybe you know, point us in a direction for our own study?
So the best thing to do is use Noble Drew Ali, since he mentioned to us these things relative to quote-unquote Islam, or a Muslim perspective, whatever, right? The reference of Islam with him led us into a broader jurisdiction than just Islam, if we really understood the message that he was really presenting to us.
Right, so I was only trying to say from that perspective, as that being the gateway to
right. What are some of the
yeah, what would those things be? What would some of those sciences or sort of practices, modalities that would help, since maybe we're coming at this from a perspective of trying to help our people,
right.
help our people get back to that higher standard of
Right, of being.
Of being.
Right, right. So on the lowest level, we just go to the Holy Quran, and then we go from the chapters that Noble Drew Ali presented, not the Aquarian Gospel chapters.
Right.
But we go with, starting at chapter 20. Right? So if the sick individual we're trying to fix is a young man, then holy instruction and warnings for all young men. They take these lessons, apply these lessons, guaranteed their life's going to change. Right? A victim of circumstance being somebody that's married and they don't know how to deal with it. Chapter 21. Marriage instructions for man and wife from the noble prophet. They read these things, apply these things, and guaranteed there's going to be a change. There's going to be a shift for these individuals into a higher standard of being. And again, you know, this is, we could, you know, read these, but like you said, it's for people study, right? So chapter 20, chapter 21. If the device being used to stray somebody is disobedience, then you go to chapter 24, the obedience of children toward their father. And then as mother and father, you take these lessons, which is supposed to make your children obedient, you apply it, because it's knowledge, and the application is really what it is that it's about, not the intake of what we, you know, feel, right?
Hey, bro, what do you want me to do? Can you take it?
All right. I'll put it in the closet here so it doesn't bother us anymore for now.
If it's a societal issue, right? If it's something that's going on that you're witness to between, let's say somebody abusing their authority in a hierarchy. You have holy instructions from the prophet, master, and servant. You give the master the lesson, you give the servant the lesson, and then now they have a guideline as to how this relationship could work without somebody taking some type of position that they're higher because of finance or mindset or a car or whatever, right? And again, like you're saying, you know, the secrets are within those chapters. That once you go into those chapters, things will be revealed to the individual receiving the message. And this again is going back to the idea that it's Islam. Right? That answer the question, Mark?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking a follow-up question to that would be, what things do you see in there, and how those instructions are given to our people? Which ones do you see being some of the ones that we as a community see not to be, or at least that other community out there, sort of, you know, the ones that aren't recognizing their heritage or their religion? What specific places there, or you know, maybe the top three that you see that we're not adhering to, and maybe if we did, would really, if there is something like that, or that you can point out, that would really help us get back on point.
Well, one would be instructional focus on the children with regard to this information, because you know if they're the future, then you know why wait for them to get this? You know, give it to them as soon as possible so they have access to this information.
You're saying to go get Black Founded,
right?
Getting the children.
Yeah, yeah. You know, because we can only do so much with people who are quote unquote older.
And how would that be played out? You're saying like giving them books, letting them see
As small as having do what Fred Hampton did, have a breakfast program.
Which is what?
Just morning, whatever morning, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, whatever. And you administer these lessons to the children while you give them some breakfast.
Right. Oh, right. All right.
You know, and it's open to anybody who's a child or anybody who Saturday needs a babysitter. They want to go get one. Send them to the Moors. Because we have a breakfast program. Right? Because remember, that was the whole point. Their whole point was get this info to the children. Get the children to know who they are. They weren't trying to get no adults to convert or change anything. Because they already know that with all the mixing of the spirits and the truth and falsehood strangely mixed, you'll get way more children to follow the Pied Piper than adults. Especially if you have something lucrative to offer.
Well, sorry, say that last part again.
The idea of the children getting the information,
Right.
you would have a better turnout going after them than trying to go after the adults.
Okay, and then what did you say after that? And you said, I thought you said something after that to qualify that or to expound on that. Was that because they were, did you say it, or that was the last?
That's it, yeah, that was.
Okay, because I thought you'd said something that to me I felt that yes, that makes them much more susceptible or much more maybe willing to take stuff on, because as adults you have been preconditioned But I also felt on a certain level, because you made mention, I think, of the Pied Piper, and I don't think he was I think in the story he's not really a good person.
Really, yeah, well, exactly. If you can get them with some negative, just play some music and got them.
Right.
They do that now to get.
No, I know, but I'm saying part of where I think there could be the opposite to that is the advantage of being an adult. You're also more seasoned and steeled against some of this corruption.
But this is why it's about who is putting the call up for these young people.
And
these
what the
children.
call is.
Yeah, because the ones who are making the call aren't going to be the ones that are wayward.
The ones that are making the call.
The ones who are saying, bring the children to our stuff, are not going to be the ones who are against nature and against, you know, they're going to be for those things. They're going to be directly against corruption.
You're hoping, because there's lots of calls that we know already for talks and stuff.
And we already know that because they don't have a nationality, who cares what they say and what they do? It's going nowhere.
Well, you're talking about that from that perspective.
It might not be intentional, but the fact that they say black school,
Oh, I see.
it's going nowhere. They're wasting time. No matter how much children they got in there,
You're talking
they're
about,
still going back to the.
You're talking about being the first principle, I. You're saying we got to get to the I first.
You got to get to self, self-realization. But if they realize self now, then we don't have to worry later about.
Yeah. But I'm saying that you made the statement in my mind that you're saying that anyone who's making that call is always going to be for a positive thing.
Yeah, but no, because I'm saying it's fezzes and turbans that should be making that call.
Yeah.
Should be nobody else.
Right.
That should be the only ones. It's like when we were
I'll put it here in case anything.
we go like when for example when locks just started coming in, right? And oh, that was negative and oh, it's dirty and now everybody got it. It's not even an issue now. Everybody's game for locks now when that used to be the dirty whatever.
And they pay a lot of money to go lock up.
Go lock up and all that stuff.
I was just talking about this a couple of days ago, that how they thought it's dirty, but then you go to administrative buildings, buses, it's like everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody's on it right now.
You might be thinking Amari.
Rogers, everywhere. You know, in the mall, security, Fofo.
You know? So I say that to say that you know they're gonna have to come to us. They're gonna have to come to the most hated.
So they think
They're gonna have to come to the Moors. Like they're gonna have to get whatever they want to get done for the people to be in the place where the people can actually do something with what they got. They're gonna have to come to the Moors.
So is it like a vibration that most Moors picked up from like the 80s and 70s again? Like of just just growing the hair.
Yeah, I mean it's the same frequency of tie a t-shirt on your head and that's a turban. You know what I mean? Like they're not looking at it like that's a turban, but that's what that was.
Yeah, but they mainly still push the quote unquote bald-headed dude right on mainstream TV.
Yeah.
There's always some bald-headed dude, clean shaved, no hair at all, and if he's locks, he's kind of like feminine locks type of.
Right, but Vidal Sassoon locks.
That's my.
Yeah. And then even when you go back when you go look back at Krishna and all that, you had there, Yashua had there. Say we never seen what Muhammad looked like and all that stuff, but pretty sure he had quite.
Yeah, that's strong enough.
And then of course Buddha had, because you had the China bumps and all that stuff. So you already know that Buddha was ain't no European here, Chinese people here. You're doing no China bumps.
Yeah, growing up even in so-called church, like all those pictures in the Bible, I never seen one dude with their
Clean
hair
shave.
cut, like, or clean shave.
None.
You know what I'm saying?
So we'll go to this dialogue between this doctor, Dr. Benford, and Prabhupada. And again, when you hear mention of Krishna, God, whatever like that, relate those things to how we're supposed to be reading it, right? With our perspective, a Moorish perspective, so that we can, like what you say, pick up the vibe of the Moorish lessons that are in this. By, instead of there's a Krishna, it's putting Ojwali in reading it. Because this is spiritual work. And again, we're saying that all the religions recognize all the prophets. So you should be able to do all of them like that. Take this prophet out of this religion, put him in that one. It shouldn't even be any different. Everything should match up right along. It's just under a different name. It's take the same thing with the God. Take the God, put that God over there, put that God over there, and then you read the Bible, and everywhere it says God and Christ, you put Muhammad, and it should be the same stuff.
So you see the unity in that.
It's supposed to be there. As soon as it's not there, you already know, oh yeah, these people are trying to play games. Right? Dr. Benford, you seem to place emphasis on what knowledge does for you. What about the sheer joy of discovering how nature works? For example, now we think that we understand matter like this. He indicates the grass on which they are sitting. We think that we know from experiments, theory, and analysis that it is made up of particles that we cannot see, and we can analyze the properties of it through experiment. We know that it is made up of molecules. We understand some of the forces that hold it together. And this is the first time we knew this. We didn't know it before. Srila. So I'll just relate them as Doctor and Srila. Srila. But what is the benefit? Although you know every particle of this grass, what benefit is derived out of it? The grass is growing. It will grow with or without your knowledge. You may know it or not know it, but it will not make any difference. Anything you like, you may study from a material, analytical point of view. Any nonsense thing you take, you can study and compile a voluminous book. But what will be the use of it? Suppose I take this grass. I can write volumes of books. When it came into existence, when it died, what are the fibers, what are the molecules? In so many ways I can describe this insignificant foliage. But what is the use of it? Doctor, if it has no use, why did God put it there? Isn't it worthwhile studying? Srila, our point is that you would rather study the insignificant grass than the God who had created everything. If you could understand him, automatically you would study the grass. But if you would separate his grass from him to study it separately, in this way you can compile volumes and volumes on the subject. But why waste your intelligence in that way? The branch of a tree is beautiful as long as it is attached to the main trunk. But as soon as you cut it off, it will dry up. Therefore, what is the use of studying the dried up branch? It is a waste of intelligence. If anybody has thoughts on any of these, just jump in.
It's just heavy, man.
Doctor, but why is it a waste? is a waste because the result is not useful. Right? Which goes back to the same thing of, if we're gaining all this knowledge about our nationality and our birthrights or whatever, there has to be some type of application. It can't just be post stuff online and that's it, we're Moors, because we have a page. There has to be something happening as a Moor that qualifies the fact that you have this knowledge. You know, some people it's being what they know. That, you know, they're doing for yourself, they're finding themselves, they're whatever. Other people, it's a training. It's a trying to figure out how to go, where to go. Because again, majority of our people, including Moors, are here for their own purpose and their own reasons. And once we get individuals who are on the same consciousness, then these reasons that we're working for now go for a bigger thing than just an individual realization. It's a group self-realization. When we look at, like we were talking about earlier, somebody who's quote unquote Islamic, and then they come and talk to the Moors, and they're like, "What do you mean you have a prophet and his name's not Muhammad? And what do you mean Quran and you're not using the Q and all that stuff? What do you mean?" But as soon as you tell them, "Oh, well, we're not," that's not the Islam that we're talking about. We're talking about mystical Islam. We're talking about Islam that when Bilal was around with Muhammad. We're not talking about you guys who say you know Muhammad. We're talking about the guys who were with that guy. That showed us the level that he's really on. He wasn't on this mundane stuff like how you guys are playing it. But you know, everybody's entitled to their own position. Everybody's entitled to their own lane. Right? But if the slow lane crosses into the fast lane, you get run over. You're not slowing down for you or whatever like that. Right? You're not having the opportunity to break and move back over or whatever like that. You're just done for. Next time, you'll learn to don't even go on in that lane. And again, this is where Moors are, why, you know, people really don't get it. Because this thing is, like, if Moors are in tune with really what's going on, you're looking at, you're getting, when you look at the information that's being put out now, stuff that's being put out now is the same stuff that Noble Juali said that these people had in their secret chambers that they're not revealing to people. The Muslims, India, Palestine, Egypt, America, because there's also Muslims over here revealing stuff too. They're called Moorish Americans, they got Moorish science something. They had information in the attic chamber that they were holding back from people. So this thing's going on everywhere right now that, you know, getting closer to the one realization. Right? First principles of love, that's across the board. That's anybody. Anybody. That's a righteous human being. Yeah, love. I'll put that as number one. After that, they'll definitely want the truth. All these things happening is right now letting us know the time that we're in right now, as far as Moors are concerned. Right? Why is knowledge of myself better than knowledge of a plant? Doctor. That was Dr. Srila. If you understand what you are, then you understand other things. It is useful to know yourself and what you are. That is important. I am a spirit soul. I am passing through so many species of life. But what is my position? I don't wish to die because I am afraid to change bodies. Therefore, I am afraid of death. The question should be raised first. I don't want unhappiness, but unhappiness comes. I don't want death, but death comes. I don't want disease, but disease comes. I don't want to become an old man, but it comes anyway. What is the reason that these things are coming by force despite my desires to the contrary? If I am forced, what is that force, and why am I under this force? Who is enforcing these things? These things I do not know, but these are the real problems. I don't want excessive heat, but there is excessive heat. I have to take shelter of electronic technology, a refrigerator, a cooler. Why? Who is enforcing these things? Why are they being enforced? I don't want this heat. What have I done? These are real questions, not just the study of foliage and writing volumes of books. That is a waste of energy. Study yourself. You don't want suffering, but why is it forced upon you? Who is enforcing? Why am I forcing? These things you do not know. Doctor, it is worthwhile then to try to stop excessive heat, say, or disease. Srila, you may want to stop the heat, but you cannot. Your scientific knowledge is not so perfect that you can stop the heat. Therefore, somebody is enforcing this. This is the right subject matter of thinking. Why am I being forced? Who is the enforcer? I don't want this heat, therefore I shall make an air conditioner. But that is only a temporary arrangement. You are scientifically advanced enough to manufacture nice medicine. So why can't you stop diseases? Doctor, we don't understand it well enough. Srila, therefore you are a fool. As soon as you don't understand, you are a fool. Doctor, can you stop yourself from being an old man? Srila, not immediately, but we are undergoing the process to stop it. Just like a man who is being treated for some disease. He is still suffering, but the fact that he is being treated means that he is going to stop it. Everyone would like to, but you are not practicing the real procedure for stopping it. Doctor, but I don't want to suffer. Why is this necessary? Srila, it is because of the laws of nature. We are stealing from Krishna, trying to enjoy independently of Krishna. Therefore, we are being punished by the laws of nature. It is not that Krishna wants us to suffer. He does not like to punish us, but it is necessary in order to reform our character. A thief does not very much appreciate the police department, and he is thinking, why do they stop me from stealing? But it is required. Devotee, but why can't the police department just explain to the thief what he is doing wrong? Srila, because he is a rascal. He will not listen. Law and order are for everyone. This is law and order, and everyone must obey. Similarly, the laws of nature are enforced by the demigods as representatives of Krishna. Everyone must obey or be punished. You may not like it, but it is the law. Therefore, there is so much pain. And again, relating again Noble Jwali's lesson, that only time Moors learn is when they're feeling pain. Right? The laws of nature are enforced by demigods as representatives of Krishna. Everyone must obey or be punished. Noble Jwali laying down certain laws, putting certain things in writing, making statements that we have seen those things that he said that nobody else said manifest. To know that, okay, yeah, there's definitely representatives out here who are sent by the higher forces to make sure that every individual has their perspective checked by something that's greater than them or someone that's greater than them. So that you're never supposed to fall off. Because as soon as you're about to fall off, there's supposed to be that thing there, and then you're supposed to get right back on it. And there's people taking the position of not seeing the lesson, missing the angel, trying to bring something to them because they're distracted into other things. Which is what the whole point is about the phenomenology of know thyself. That when you put time into knowing yourself, that keeps you out of so much other stuff that would more than likely distract or destroy you. That you realize the importance of why Noble Drew Ali even made that statement. Put it in the Quran, first page, know thyself. And thy Father God Allah. When you know Allah, then you know yourself. Because you and Allah are one being. It's in a different form. Doctor, why is all this happening then? What are we trying to attain? Why are we going through so much pain? Srila, because you are not advancing beyond the bodily conception of life. You are simply advancing from one pain to another pain. But if you want to get out of pain, then you have to take to Krishna consciousness and surrender to Krishna. That is our proposition. Right? Same thing that Moorish say. You want to stop feeling pain and all that stuff? Declare your nationality. These people leave you alone tomorrow. But they jump from one pain to another pain. They jump from one devil bothering them to another devil bothering them. Then another devil bothering them. Now they got 500 devils to deal with. They don't know how to deal with any of them because none of them are studying the higher sciences. None of them are studying meditation, yoga, nothing like that. None of them are studying astrology. None of them are really taking serious the higher lessons. They're just looking at the mundane lessons. And then a blue guy comes out named Shiva, and then, oh my God, you can't listen to him or whatever like that, when this is letting Hindus get on track. This is letting Muslims in India get on track. And our people deny all that, but they're going to go with Asar, who was a green guy. They'll listen to him. But they won't listen to Krishna, who's a direct replica of Osiris in a different culture. Don't suffer pain after pain. Stop it and surrender to Krishna. That is our proposition. Everyone is trying to stop pain, both animals and man, in science and in ordinary work also. That is the real struggle. There is pain, and the struggle is to stop pain. And people take this struggle as happiness. But the real happiness, real ecstasy, permanent ecstasy, is there in the spiritual world where there is no pain. This material happiness is called Maya, or illusion. And then go to Mayans. Know that they're not the people who built those stuff. They're an illusion. Hence they're Mayan. Stuff predate them. Just like they said, the Sabians. Sabians because of Saba, to Sheba, which goes back to ancient times. So these aren't modern things that, you know, somebody wrote this book, just came and then they put this thing down. This is stuff that, this goes back. And again, these secrets were held back from the world And the Asiatics in America got an opportunity through Noble Drew Ali, who was Egyptian adept, which means that he had all that info, and presented it to the Moors in America, that they're not Negro, black, color, broad, and all that stuff. Brought them back into their religion, Islam, so that they can have this information now without having to fight to get it, like how the black guys have to fight to get some info, or fight not to accept certain info. Now you look at the fight that so-called slave master fought the black guy because he didn't want him to learn his culture. Right? They're doing that today on their own, fighting with Moors. Like they on their own are saying, beat me in that door, you're not going to learn none of this. And they just got the stuff to their own self, like. But saying that, oh, the white man is something and whatever. When really, no, the free white person is really who the white man is, which goes back again to them doing it to themselves. The white man did it. Instead of saying the black guy did it. And switch the frequency.
And then place it up, and then cook it in the pot. I'll put it in stone. Yes.
Doctor, why does a person like me, who is trying to understand the world rationally, find no way in which to do so? Srila, yes, you are trying to know the world rationally, but you are not going to the proper teacher. Doctor, there are learned men in the world who simply study nature. Srila, still, you require an experienced teacher. Of course you can learn anything from nature, but not everyone is so intelligent that he can study nature properly. For example, if you study nature, why do you speculate that everything is void after death? Nature is not void. It is full of varieties. Therefore, your study of nature is imperfect. Nature is not void. For we are sitting here surrounded by varieties. Varieties of flowers, varieties of leaves, varieties of plants. If you say that nature is void, then your study of nature is not perfect. Doctor, I guess we don't understand it yet. Srila, that is your ignorance, but you cannot say it is void. You feel, but not others. Don't say we. Doctor, we scientists? Srila, but there are other scientists who understand things differently. You are not the only scientist. Doctor, but I feel that if I study the world, there is a way to check my conclusions. You study the world and you think that you understand the physical process, and then you perform experiments to verify your ideas, and then you see if you can apply the physical process in the world. Srila, that is another ignorance, because you do not know that you are imperfect. Oh, I know that I am not perfect. Then why is it the use of your researching in this way? If you are imperfect, the result will also be imperfect. So why waste your time in this way? Therefore, you have to approach the right teacher who will show you. In order to become a scientist, you have to go to university to find a professor who can instruct you. A teacher is required also, or you cannot get your degree, is it not? So when you want to learn something, you have to approach a teacher. And if the teacher is perfect, then you get perfect knowledge. This is the process. If the teacher is only another rascal like you, when whatever knowledge he may give you is useless. The teacher must be perfect. He must have real knowledge. Then he can teach. Therefore, the process is that you have to find out a perfect teacher. If you are fortunate and you get such a perfect teacher, then you can learn everything. But if you approach a teacher who is as blind as you are, then you don't learn anything. And again, that's going back to when you look at this idea of the perfect teacher. When we look at after Noble Drew Ali, and we have CMB and Hakeem, Taj, Aleem, and all these people, Sister Raz and these people. These are individuals who had real knowledge. Everybody has knowledge, but who has real knowledge? Who has knowledge that you're actually able to take and apply to your life and then it does something? It's only with people who are studying that real knowledge do you have that experience. It is only, just like Brother Hannibal was saying, that there's people who, the stuff that we teach as Moors, just to people, there's people in certain orders or whatever, they're paying for that per seminar. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 seminar to learn some Siri, whatever. Right? So the individual, you know, the concept of perfect teacher is not perfect as in, you know, unscathed. The perfect teacher equals one who has right knowledge. Because that knowledge is, you're supposed to be able to take that knowledge, apply it, and then the stuff work, and then now you gotta rep that teacher, because if I do like this and break the concrete, the guy who taught me that, okay. Because anybody can teach you to do that, but it might not break if you do that. Your hand might break. Hand might break. These were.
No.
Doctor, you cannot find out anything about Krishna by studying science. Srila, there is nothing but Krishna. There is nothing else except Krishna. Doctor, but if we study the physical world, we study the work of Krishna. Srila, yes, but you don't know Krishna. You don't say as a rule that you are studying the work of Krishna because you don't know Krishna. You avoid Krishna. Yes, that is fact, but you do not know Krishna. You simply know the grass. But I know the grass and Krishna both. Therefore, I am better than you. Doctor, then we cannot find anything out about Krishna by simply studying the grass. Srila, then you are limited to grass and know nothing beyond that. It is true but limited. Relative truth. In the Vedanta Sutra, the first statement is, now, in this human form of life, let us inquire about the origin of everything. Not to study the relative truth, but the absolute truth. That is the business of the human form of life. Doctor, but how do I know this is true? Srila, that you have to learn from the teacher. That is the process. Knowledge is also available. When you wanted to learn science, what did you do? You found out a suitable teacher. If you can find a competent teacher, then everything can be understood. Everything can be demonstrated by experiment. Everything. Yes, it can be demonstrated. It is demonstrated. When you get a seed and sow it, a big tree comes from the seed. That is demonstration. How can you say that it is not demonstration? The seed is the cause and the tree is the effect. That is demonstration. Krishna says, I am the seed. The seed is Krishna. I am the original seed of all existences. Bhagavad Gita 7:10. As soon as we see the seed, we see Krishna. Krishna says, I am the seed. So how can you say you cannot see Krishna? You can see Krishna. It is not a mystery, it is fact. Krishna says, I am the seed. I have heard it before from Krishna. Therefore, when I see a seed, I am seeing Krishna. How can you say you are not perceiving Krishna? You see Krishna according to Krishna's direction. Why do you persist in trying to see Krishna in your own way? Krishna says, I am the light of the sun and the moon. As soon as you see the sunshine, you are seeing Krishna. Why do you say you don't see Krishna? What is your reason? There are so many things you do not know. Therefore, you have to learn from the teacher, Krishna. Because you do not know and you do not care for Krishna, therefore, your knowledge is imperfect. And then relate knowledge is imperfect to the Holy Quran chapter, insufficiency of knowledge. So that you can put the relations in recognizing, the teachings of the Muslims in India and all that stuff. Noble Jolly delivered those stuff to us. And it's for our earthly salvation and spiritual salvation. Doctor, the thing that bothers me most is that it seems to be necessary to accept things blindly. Srila, yes, because our brains are imperfect. The child, when he is learning mathematics from his teacher, has no power to question or to protest. How has 2 plus 2 become 4? He doesn't inquire. He simply accepts and becomes learned. That is the process. You cannot ask how Krishna has made this seed. What is the chemical arrangement, the complete arrangement, so that the tree is coming out? It is coming out whether you understand it or not. Therefore, you know that Krishna is perfect. You cannot ask how the tree is coming out, nor is it within your power to understand how it is coming out. You can definitely relate that to people who look at declaring their nationality from not applying the process. And then they have some type of perspective that they're going to give as to why this works or doesn't work or whatever. You haven't proclaimed your nationality. What do you mean you got an opinion of what this is? How are you taking the position of you want to understand, or you understand how the seed becomes a tree? No way. Even if you were told it, you wouldn't understand it. As far as the outside. But when you and Allah are one, then you and everything in creation is one. And then you can have a perspective as to why this thing does what it does. And then taking that and then applying it to yourself. Which is where Jewel Pukram was going with 7 circuits of the brain. And then all the 7 circuits of the brain attaching to different elements in nature. That you can apply that. So reptilian, you cut your hand off, grow your hand back. It's not, you just tap into the reptilian brain. You want to astral project, you just tap into whatever part of the brain. The different animals camouflage themselves in nature. Now, so the military got that for the nanotechnology and all that. Taking nature and then finding a physical, just like we were talking about with the food and all that. You know that they can create flavors in nature, and now it's a drop of whatever. A flavor of whatever, you just get a drop. Without the something that is the origin, like synthetic version of a flavor. Right?
So about like kung fu masters and stuff, like how they would study like the snakes and the
You're right. Even that. And you study that to the point where you become that.
and their understanding of the god would be like their chi, their inner power, their inner strength, you know, like make them do all those, you know, running across trees and you know.
Yep. Tapping into higher consciousness. There's no different than with Bruce Lee's, it'd be like water. It should be like water. Some stuff's in trouble.
Yeah, I just thought about the Peter Pan thing and how he couldn't fly or whatever, and they were like, you gotta think of something that makes you like happy, or like something that, you know, that would be like the tapping in, because
Right.
that source of happiness can only come from above, right? If you want to look at it,
Right.
or within, you know.
Again,
Within, which is really
coming to the realization that everything is inward. Like it's not really this way.
that's where I came from. Like, you know, like
You even came from inward.
20 years ago, I was like this stuff, you know. So, yeah,
Therefore, you know that Krishna is perfect. You cannot ask how the tree is coming out, nor is it within your power to understand how it is coming out. That is Krishna's power. You scientists are just like children. The child is asking, how is it that from this tape recorder so many sounds are coming out? He cannot understand it. It is useless for him to try to understand it at the present stage of his development. But it is a fact that behind the mechanical arrangement of the tape recorder is a big science and a big brain. Similarly, the seed is undoubtedly a wonderful arrangement. Even though you do not understand, cannot understand how a big tree is coming out from the tiny seed, still it is wonderful. And there is a brain, a wonderful brain behind all this, that you have to accept. So the main business of human life is to understand Krishna. For that purpose, there must be scientific method to understanding when human society is perfect. That is our propaganda. We do not say that you must accept religion and God by sentiment. No, accept it through philosophical and scientific inquiry. That is our propaganda. You shouldn't be a sentimental fanatic and accept blindly. You should try to understand this science of Krishna consciousness. So I am very glad to meet you, Dr. Benford. I want all scientists and philosophers to try to understand Krishna in their own way. That will be the perfection of their learning. You are a real scientist when you explain Krishna scientifically. That is your perfection. Doctor, I came today because I wanted to see if there are any similarities between your teachings and the findings of civics. Srila, that you will learn if you associate with us. Saraku Damodara here is also a scientist, and he's now learning the science of Krishna consciousness. Now you can deviate him from Krishna consciousness. He's become firmly convinced, yet he's also a bona fide scientist. He's not a fool or a fanatic. You can relate that to these situations when Moors, we use, if we just say in public somewhere, then there's a Moor and somebody who classified Negro, black, colored, and then a national from another country. And the engagement between the Moor and the national and the Moor and the black individual is different. Totally different.
Like mother and child.
Right? And the quote-unquote black individual is not going to look at the arrangement and question the Moor like, hey, I just saw that intercourse between you and this individual. How can I get down with what you know? How can I get this true knowledge? So I can have a better understanding of why we're not black. Not just that we're not black and Negro in colors, but why is it that we're not that? And then using these things, you know, for them to get to a higher place, for them to understand the noble duality consciousness.
Yeah, but like it's wild though, because like the black mind, it's kind of like it's a premature, it's a child mind that was just created. It's the newest creation, if you want to say that. And tapping into the Moorish information is like the bigger, the oldest brain of information that was compiled, that was already there. Like we were saying about the electronics or whatever, you know, like a child or somebody that has no experience in the electronics, they have no understanding even to, if they never experienced it, to even turn it on.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then to look at the human being and to study the human being and not realize there's a big brain behind that technology itself,
right,
which would be the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That I love the way how that was put together.
Yeah. And again, it's like, you know, it's only because we have a Moorish mindset. Why, when we get this, it's being received on a different vibration. You know, it's being received from you know, from a higher place. Because like I said, you know, if we were black, we would have the child mind. Now we're gonna read this stuff like this whatever. They even mentioned ancient Egypt in here and all that type of stuff. It's like they didn't say nobody's black and all that, and they get mad. Say this is not for them. When stuff in here would line them up quick, fast. Right?
You could read Othello.
Yeah. So right there.
What is that?
Read Othello. Shakespeare.
Oh.
They make you do it in high school. Right? So just read that, and that should connect you to something.
Oh, but I thought checking calendar.
Yeah, but they got you. You have to be told that it's important. No, like in the black state of mind, like you have to be told that what is value, what this and that. So like, because their lack of experience with the mind development, like you know, like anything has to do with the world is too advanced because they're used to unblock the backyard or whatever. You know,
They haven't been taught how to think for themselves. So it's like, this is how you have to do it.
Yeah.
Think for yourself.
Yeah, so TV didn't mention we're more, so it doesn't matter how much other people are saying it, you know. Like,
Yeah. And then on another level too, there's also the omission the omission of things that would stop them from reaching whatever or picking up on certain things. Because they never ever said in high school the more Othello, the more of Venice. They just said Othello. Like, if they don't put everything in there and you're going based on that partial learning of Othello, you can read that, you can know it verbatim and all that. It's still not going to have the same effect if you don't
because you're going to assume,
subtitle it.
because they didn't put in the nationality of the person, you're going to automatically assume that it's modern
Probably
European.
modern European.
Yeah, so they're good.
Exactly what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they should. What's the movie? Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
They should go
Yeah,
check
yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
Little snippets of your history. They don't want to see that.
It's not in their up to date Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. Abridged version. Similarly, any reasonable scientist can understand Krishna consciousness. Those who are dogmatic cannot understand, but those who follow our arguments, they will understand Krishna consciousness. It is not difficult. We have books. We are not simply talking. We have dozens of books to help you understand. We means the body. The body is a product of this universe, and the universe is a product of Krishna. Therefore, the universe is not separate from Krishna. The universe is also Krishna. So when you explain universal laws with reference to Krishna, then it is perfect knowledge. The universe is one of Krishna's energies, the material energy. We living entities are also an energy of Krishna, the living energy. The combination of the living energy and the material energy is the universe. So, in one sense, the study of the universe is also the study of Krishna, but as long as you do not actually come to the point of understanding Krishna, your knowledge is imperfect. Then it goes on in chapter 2 on inspiration.
That one.
Chapter 3, the computerized Mr. Jones. Chapter 4, the principle of reincarnation. If anybody have any questions, you can put those up. We're just going to see what questions or whatever we got on here.
Only could do one. Leave one. First one.
Yeah, knowledge is heavier than mass.
First one. One sound.
If you were to collect all knowledge, put it together, and weigh it, collect all mass, put it together,
First one.
knowledge is weighs
Which
pretty.
one? Which one you think?
You know, like each grain of sand is the
Which
amount
one
of
you think?
knowledge it would take to actually make a grain of sand.
Which one you think?
It's crazy.
Or the weight of knowledge is mass itself.
There we go both ways.
Both of them.
The weight of knowledge is gravity itself. Mass is just the illusion.
It's a byproduct.
You know what I mean? Mass is just like
That's the opposite side of the scale.
Which one?
Sis, you have any questions? You good? Alright.
Which one you think? Oh?
Yeah, and then that just brings up the other ways of seeing. You got the
Which one?
the 7 rays of light, or whatever,
Which one?
and the higher consciousness thoughts, and just the more higher up you go, there's something there.
And Hannibal Bay video was just saying how
Which one?
Holy Corbett, the first chapter,
Which one?
probably like the first verse, it says in the beginning was the thought. The thought was just
That's the one.
void of nothingness. The thought realized that it was alone. So it started to think more thoughts, and then
those
just
thoughts
thought things into
started
existence
creating
from there. And
things.
that's
Yeah, exactly.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's
How did
The flow of life.
yeah.
How
concept there.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
Which one you think?
We got a message from Jungle Stone.
Why are you not saying?
Jungle Stone said, yes, I am a black Peace Stone blood from Baldwin Hills, and our leader in Mecca, Chicago, Jeff Fort, always told us to follow Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
The message that.
Yeah,
It's a message.
yeah. Somebody sent a message on, they left this message on one of the videos as a comment. Yeah. Huh? Right, and you know about the Peace Stones? That's a gang in Chicago. Where Bloods, Crips, all that stuff come out of. So, Jeff Fort was the leader of the Peace Stones, yeah, of the gang. And then he declared his nationality to Malik Mustafa Angel. Right, he's locked up right now. Because they were saying he had connections with Gaddafi. Yeah, Muammar Gaddafi. So they trumped up charges on him and got him arrested. But you know, certain people could meet with Gaddafi and they're still around. But Gaddafi's dead. But certain people are still around.
Yeah, even what's his name? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
No need to
So
mess.
the teachings under Jeff Fort, according to this Peace Stone blood from Baldwin Hills or whatever, is that they're supposed to follow the teachings of Noble Drew Ali as a blood. They're supposed to study that.
What do they call it? El Rican?
El Rukin, yeah, El Rukin. Moore sent this one. This is a listen to one, but this one was interesting.
Yeah. And I noticed that, and that's what made me feel like, nah, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on them. I think this is a little.
What's been the feedback you've gotten from people? Because I know when we played your record, people was like, T.I. standing next to Kanye, how dare he?
But check it. Well, I don't care about what people say about me, man. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't challenge my pedigree. I've been putting in too much work, for too long, man. You can't do that. You know, and also, if he was on the other side, somebody, like, shouldn't we have one of us at the table?
Right.
Shouldn't it be at least one of us at the table?
Can we have a clear thinker, though?
Whoa. We just need, for real, we need someone with a sincere passion who's going to actually say what's on their mind. If we get somebody at the table who has enough clear thought to where they can filter what to bring back and what to keep, you see what I'm saying? That's more dangerous.
You mean someone who represents the feelings of his fans who are hurt by what he's saying? Is that what you mean?
I mean someone who can understand the plight, perhaps, and if they were at the table, they could use their care for these people and use their influence over here.
Which table is this? Which table is this?
I mean, the table with the cats with the red hats, I guess, man.
and why is their table the one we supposed to be at?
You say what?
Why is that table the one we got to sit at?
Well,
because I've taken a position with a lot of these people. I don't want to talk to them.
Well, listen, now let me ask you a question now. And I mean, I'm with you. I don't want to talk to him, but get what? He right there, so we ain't got to talk to him.
Who is this? Which table is this?
I mean, the table with the cats with the red hats, I guess, man.
And why is their table the one we supposed to be at?
You say what?
Why is that table the one we got to sit at?
Well,
because I've taken a position with a lot of these people. I don't want to talk to them.
Well, listen, now let me ask you a question now. And I mean, I'm with you. I don't want to talk to him, but get what? He right there, so we ain't got to talk to him.
The dumb interviewer thinks when he says table that he's talking about like someone to be able to justify Kanye's actions.
Right. And
But
T.I.'s talking about the guys who are running the stuff.
Kanye being someone like Kanye being at that table.
Being at the table with the guys.
Who's passionate about things and who could probably use his influence.
Because he's at the table.
Yeah.
So he must know those guys with the red hats. So since he knows the guys with the red hats, then, you know, that should be the guy. You know, because who else is around the table? Anybody else really around the table? But yeah, that was interesting.
They're mad at him because he's saying they're really mad at him because he said the 400 years of slavery is a choice that those people made. So people are outraged at that.
Like only black guys mad, huh?
He's saying it's a choice. Like no, he's like 400 years, like that long. Of course, it's a choice then. You're gonna subject yourself
It
that
don't
long.
make sense because we don't make war and create, we don't do things to get out of that.
Yeah.
We don't take away their gun from them and kill them, if so be the case.
We try.
I don't know, if I was thinking I was black, I would at least go and look up what the man was saying.
Worse, there's people around you who look just like you, who are not even being subjected like you.
Yeah.
You're not wondering why?
Volunteer.
It's just the ones that are from here, that just always seem to be getting more like the, how can I say it?
Yeah.
Just the mistreatment. And then you see, they're your family, I shouldn't use that word, but your kinfolk, right? You know that they're like you, there's something different, there's something about it that just, why is it that their treatment is different from yours? But I like that with what the brother sent you.
Yeah.
That round table.
Yeah, all the last class we were talking about these Aboriginal indigenous don't call themselves Moors.
That one.
And there was a brother that was on Brother Rich channel talking about Noble Drew is a myth and he doesn't even know if he was really Cherokee and all that. One of the Moors sent us a picture of their seal. He has a sweater talking about seal of the Delaware tribe. Seal of the Delaware tribe. Lenny Lenape, New Jersey. And the question we're putting out there is, how come these Aboriginal indigenous people have a cross, like Christian cross to me, Christian cross on their shield or their seal? And if they have a Christian cross on their seal, does that mean that they work with Rome?
The original cross, it's a tool for measuring water. I guess they're the first people to use it as some kind of religion or something.
No, because I saw Hannibal was explaining something about it too. And he was explaining it about as a form of protection. But the way in which they push it forward, they don't use it for that. He was explaining it. He was explaining it yesterday.
Yeah, because I know it's a now flooding equipment that, you place the cross where the river flooded the previous year or whatever.
Mark the spot.
To mark the spot, and based on your experience, if it's going to go higher or lower or whatever. But it's a ruler. It's a ruler first. It's a tool that we use to measure river, the depth of oceans and stuff like that. Even when they do it now, like they're measuring all the way to the bottom, and then they're leveling it out at the actual surface level. So that's still a cross.
Pole is the depth, and then the cross to tell where.
The cross to tell how high it is. Yeah. But like even with because to have, it's like I was talking with a sister about nigger, and the idea of nigger being from Negus and it means king or whatever, but just don't use nigger then. Just say Negus. Instead of don't even go there. Even though we know that has a origin in something pre that word. How about just living that word, use the original word?
Yeah, get back to it.
Get back to the original.
Yeah.
Same thing that I'm looking at with the cross. that after everything that it's been through, and the stigma that it has, to use it as is only going to cause confusion. Because, you know, talking about the cross, talking about the water level, you know, and these things, you don't have the opportunity to explain these things in your seal. You know what I mean? For any Moors who are on Instagram, any Moors who are in that world, any people that are finding out about nationality and birthrights and are coming through those platforms, be very wary of people on there telling you that they have some process, they have some papers or whatever that can free you or save you or whatever, without them sending you to rvbaypublications.com. Make sure that if you're in the world of online getting information, that you don't just take it because somebody out there has a fez on, turban on, they got a nationality card, and they're saying, you know, do this through us or whatever like that, and because they have a fez or turban, you're riding with them. The charlatan game is getting deeper, right? There's more people trying to play people out of their birthright than ever before.
And used to tell them about it, but no.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's a thing now to get played. Like it's a thing now to go online, get somebody's email, and you know they do whatever. So somebody sent an email about a Shaheed Bey on Instagram, who's doing the same thing with the papers, you know, claiming that, you know, they're part of the whatever, but then when you deal with them, they have their own stuff that they're doing. Not even connected to who they're saying they're affiliated with, which is RV Bay Publication. So, you know, and then after they play people, block people and stuff like that. Right? After they play you, block you, so you can't contact them no more. So just be mindful.
Block you and look for new victims.
You want to come take a peek at your temple, bro? You want to come take a look at your temple? You don't want to come take a peek at your temple? Come look at your temple, bro.
Another one again. We heard some Moors finally got a hold of Nakeem Bey with CM Bey's with Clock of Destiny, and they didn't even get to approach him or whatever. Just man dipped out ASAP. Right? These are the same people who took CM Bey's stuff off of the Library of Congress registry. They're the same people who took what Charles Mosley Bey brought and put it in their little chambers and stuff like that, trying to keep books away from the public and all that they can't, you know what I mean? They can't really deal with it, right? Peace, yo.
Yeah, they got bites because they never believed no duality.
Exactly.
They thought everything was done. They just get them.
They always think.
Walk around in the dark and do what the hell they feel like.
Always. Always.
Mystical.
I thought the sun wasn't going to come back, you know?
Yes, Elder. Bless us.
Because it's dark out.
Peace and
Sister Khalifa.
What's good? Bless up.
Yeah,
man. Everything good?
Yeah, man. So you're going to damage that thing right now.
Huh?
Heading up to
Build
still,
up.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Build up. You know what I mean? Boy. Slowly. Y'all follow?
No, probably later. I don't know. Probably not. But we'll do you. See you all. All right, man. Peace, Mark. Peace, love, bro. Morisma, 2005. There's a documentary out there called Morisma, M-O-R-I-S-M-A. Morisma documents in colorful detail the traditional and religious celebrations of Moors against Christians in the Mexican states of Zacatecas and Jalisco. Z-A-C-A-T-E-C-A-S. Z-A-C-A-T-E-C-A-S. And Jalisco. J-A-L-I-S-C-O.
Oh my God.
And Morisma.
What?
There's another thing here, but it's too small. But the other, there's another image here that talks about more. 2016 Academy Award winning something or the other, More, and it's a movie, and More means mother. That's basically where they're going on with this, with the concept of the movie or something. So a movie named More from 2016, it looks like. And the documentary from 2005 called Morisma. I got another email, another message from so there was people always like to go on our videos and plug their whatever they got to plug, right? So some people came on there called Council of Amun. Council of A-H-M-U-N. And this was the message that the leader of whoever was leaving the comments on the video sent after they saw the messages or whatever. How are you, brother? I am the Akan, A-K-K-H-A-N. I received a transcript of a brief exchange between you and one of my pupils who is hosting our new platform. Teachers of Amun, I must say, sadly, that your behavior in that brief moment sold you as one who showcased quite a lack of wisdom. Perhaps that was an isolated case. I gather that you are a teacher, and as such, you have an obligation to show poise, collectedness, as well as being measured with your words.
Who is this talking to?
Some contact from the Council of Amun, the teachers of Amun.
To you?
Yeah, this is the message that he sent.
He's talking to you?
Yeah.
You have to be more sensitive.
Yeah, yeah. Be like no licks.
Okay, so we've already talked about it, right, though, and you know that.
Yeah. Much unmeasured statements as the following are not accepted of a wise teacher. And then this is my quote that he put. You don't seem to be doing much. LOL. So you have no nationality, you're saying. Frauds. Bye. That was my comment to them. I'll give you the benefit that this was an isolated, one-time case. Again, this is the Akan. My grand task is to establish a consensus within the many schools of thoughts among the people. And part of this engagement involves reaching out to our group, reaching out to your group. In doing so, would you like to teach me your perspectives about the Moors? As the Akan, I happen to have a quite satisfactory knowledge of this topic, though I'd be delighted to hear your premises.
So this is him now following up?
Yeah. Be intelligent, be wise, be safe, the Akan. So, I'll just read their little statement on their YouTube page. Because my thing was, you want me to teach you something. According to the stuff on your YouTube page, the Book of Amun. This world lives a major lie that has deceived 99.99% of people. If you are wise, you understand that there can only be one truth about a matter, and we alone speak it. The hundreds of other concepts and theories, along with the millions of pages and channels out there, do not speak the truth of this world. Since those behind this deception have made it impossible for anyone or group to build a significant movement against their world of lies through meticulous means, and since the people are too far back and have been rendered too void of consciousness and discernment to comprehend the secret affairs of this world, this knowledge can only be offered in the form of personal education at this point. This caliber of knowledge does not belong on YouTube next to the rest of the confusion. As such, it can only be learned upon request. This knowledge is priceless. You are tasked with teaching it upon learning it. There is one truth and we speak it, the Book of Amun.
So that's what he's saying that they're about.
That's what they're about, yeah.
But so it's valuable information, and probably you'll have to pay him some money to get it, right?
I mean, I don't know. I never really checked or whatever.
But he's saying that this information is so valuable, whatever, that he wants to teach it to you, and then you got to go teach other people.
Yeah.
Why isn't he just teaching other people?
Well, why don't you have a YouTube page? Why don't you go to the hedges and the highways with this information? Why is it
just giving it out for free?
So right? Why is it so closed door, so antechamberish with this information that's supposed to be the truth? If 99% of the people of the world are ignorant, and you have that thing that's going to free these 99.99% of people, why are you keeping that to yourself in some personal dialogue with me? It's all right. We'll stick with our prophet and what he brought. Because we at least could look out here and see Moors to know that, oh, there's at least some people that are exercising this thing.
Definitely growing like a seed.
Definitely. The Nami treaty, Jefferson's treaty with Tripoli and the question of Islam. Religion had never figured previously in Jefferson's diplomatic dealings with North African states, but the language of this treaty with Tripoli, compared with that of Adams' previous treaty, indicates that religion had entered into his thinking. Article 14 of Jefferson's Tripoli Treaty, for instance, omits the clause Cobbett had complained about in earlier Article 11. The government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. He did, however, choose to retain and thus reaffirm Adams' end to anti-Islamic sentiments concerning America's official stance toward the belief of Muslims. as the government of the United States of America has in itself no chances, no something of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of the Musselmen. And then also remember to look up Musselmen, for all new people, M-U-S-S-E-L-M-E-N, Musselmen. In 1785, various American newspapers used the term Arabic, Moroccan, or Arab, Moroccan, Tunisian, and Tripolian. The term Moor was problematic in origin and application. This English word derived from the Latin Moros, meaning someone from Mauritania, the name of the northwestern region of North Africa since Roman times. Ethnically, Moor would be a Berber or an Arab who had conquered and ruled the Iberian Peninsula until the Reconquista, while some still remained, and a subject population until 1614. As late as the 17th century, the term also referred to a person of black or dark skin, in which case he was rendered as a blackamoor. A tertiary meaning of Moor is Muslim, although Muslims did not use this term for themselves. That is from Thomas Jefferson's Quran, Islam, and the Founders. Thomas Jefferson's Quran, Islam, and the Founders is the name of the book. Another reference point for the Sabians is Africa, Mother of Western Civilization by Dr. Ben. That looks like it for today. Anybody got questions or comments? We're gonna also next week there's gonna be no class next week. Next week Sunday, we want people to go do something for your mom or your great grandmom or your aunt or your whoever that's female in your life. Go give some honors next week. So we'll have no class next week. We'll follow up again week after that. And of course, on all our Tuesday sessions, you got session coming up Wednesday, Ted?
Yeah.
7 p.m. All right. Wednesday, 7 p.m. for the Canaanland Moors conference call. We're also looking at trying to get a space to do something in Agent Court Library.
Okay, now.
Barbecue, July 14th.
But we also have a summer solstice ceremony or event happening, we'll say on the, one second.
Here. This? No.
I will say on the 23rd of June.
23rd of June, summer solstice celebration.
23rd or 24th, that weekend.
All right, that weekend? Okay.
Because the 21st 20th, 21st falls on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
All right.
So I figure we'll push it rather than close
Yeah,
it.
Right.
So it's either the 23rd or 24th.
Yeah.
That weekend we will be more than likely somewhere. We might be at Fort Erie again. We might be at or that area.
And also, 21st is going to be our first Aboriginal Day.
Celebration.
We got our proclamation, yeah. Since we got our proclamation,
maybe we can culminate
so
that.
we can culminate everything and make it like a week, make it like a 4-day
Or we
thing or
can maybe
something.
hold it over the 2 preceding weekends.
Yeah.
In terms of maybe if the weather's good enough, maybe do something outside on
Right.
the weekend before.
On the weekend before, leading up to that weekend, and then that weekend having our summer solstice and the Aboriginal Day. So, what do you say? 21st is a Wednesday? A Thursday?
21st is a Thursday.
Right. So that Thursday, we're going to be looking at trying to free up schedules. Because it's probably going to be some daytime thing that they have. The city doing whatever it is that they're doing.
Oh, you're saying that you're wanting to go and attend that?
Yeah, whatever they have going on.
All right.
If it's not everybody, some people or whatever, but see what we could do to make some type of presence.
Get together as a group and go there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And just go there as a group.
And then we'll be talking about over the next couple of weeks, but we'll maybe be looking to canvas some people out there who maybe want to help in terms of the
the solstice celebration and
as well as the
barbecue.
Aboriginal event.
Yeah.
So we'll be canvassing some people there, and I guess up and coming we may be canvassing as well to have certain people who maybe can help.
It's a lot more.
White power.
Right on time.
We're probably going to maybe look to canvas, maybe for right now temporarily, but in the future something a little bit more established, getting a few people to volunteer to help with cleanup and setup and dismantling or wrapping of these set events.
Yeah. Alright. So Islam.
Also, those people who want to be involved, I'll obviously maybe get in contact with, the people that you should get in contact in terms of if you're wanting to be involved. I know you want to be involved, so we'll be contacting you. Anyone else who wants to be involved in helping, please contact the proper officials.
Alright, Islam Mars. So we'll close out. Oh, with the, yeah. Father on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector. Hey, why you come up here? Come up here and do the prayer. Come up here.
You do it. She got it down.
We gotta start over. Alright? Alright. You start when you're ready to start.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace.
Freedom.
And justice.
Allah, my protector.
My
guide.
And my salvation.
By night.
And by day. Truth for the prophet.
Islam.
Canaanland Moors, Murder by Illusion, featuring E-Jazz, Anonymous, and Roots K.
Young offender on the grid. I've been doing a bit since a little kid. then it was the adult side. I lose my respect if I let it slide. Then it slid, I kept my flow hid, and the words don't skid. With respect to the house, here's a piece on me. If you wanna leave calmly, while they're busy smoking, I'm easy roping, with the hot blonde wide open. It jaws, wasn't joking, pop your lids, unless you really wanna live. Stop the fibs, with one less ribs. Engineering, anonymous. Is it preposterous? They could doctor us. Is it ancient chemic, or is it just genetic? All I get is aesthetic. 2 million years of history, just forget it. If you let it, don't you dare ruin your credit. As I stare at your social club pinky swear. A supreme being intervened, it was something green. I didn't know how to adjust the screen. Second look, it was just as clean. Dust a fiend with some muscle cream. Let her know this is not a dream. My flow is the stream to the most pristine. You never seen this like being.
The rhyme pattern and design so intricate, you'll never see the sign, so here's a kick. But don't F around with mine or the syndicate. You straight stay in line or the stink could get like you on a landmine in a sinking pit. It's not just your music, only stink like shit. We see right through your phony, you counterfeit. Pass a piece of Frano, wanna roll a split. Where I'm from in Toronto, all we know is flip. Firm grip, under grip, gotta hold his hip. All they know is download and loading clips. I just rep the G code, we ain't new to this. Don't let me get in beast mode, metamorphosis. Yo, we got the street zone, no forcefulness. And all the ether zone, call me Morpheus. Find our way home, more free us. No scissors and comb, nagas niggas. Blood and bone, muscle tissue, form fetus. And we never on our own, Allah feeds us.
I keep it roping, I'm eloping. Well spoken, here's a token. Genuine, no joking. And if I pause, my mind is in motion. Who's up next for the smoking while I'm bearing arms of steady toting? A brain load of weaponry, ready to expose it. The stories of all lies, I got the man secured to host this. Many wanna boast it and run game and then revoke it. You better off dead, the majority is voted. I post playing, giving you a dosage. The punchline is potent, knocking niggas out like a close fist. Coming from the rats and the roaches. Many want to say they the one who came the closest to royalty and fame, and if the president approaches, acknowledge what my name is and claim an island off the coast, yes. My chronology is most best. Floating like a lotus, I'm heavy in the streets. Take notice, I've arrived, there's the chance for me to blow this.
My great sister, Roots K, with Visionary.
Patch up this life's work with a little more aid in the fight hurt to keep me here a little longer, just a little stronger. Keep me a ponder a dream and praying mothers stop burying the babies in the dirt. How life work, no longer mysticized when I lift my eyes. This is how the strife hurt, and I'm confined to a mind that only believes in false hope, strained through its evil lies down the drain where the soul lurks. Couldn't believe my eyes, years searching, broken. How could I deny what you stolen, cheating? Only leaves me peace in the breakdowns mentally. Single mother raised 4, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and a second daughter only meant to be another single mother. She raised 4, and only princess knew that she gon' add to the score. It's a team effort, right? As the cycle repeats, my socio-political economic defeat sweep me right from under my feet. Short days, long nights, cold hungry in the streets. Brothers and sisters from another mister. Still I'm left alone to defend my demons. Still left to own this light from the egg and semen. Make dirty wrongs clean, right? Friends turn enemies, loved ones memories fade. No pretty picture. Watch the vibration raise on the Richter. I stand motionless, emotionless. Desensitize me until you motion this voice for the underprivileged. Those getting this years after I wrote it. Take back no talk when I fall back to reconnect with the rodents. Back when life was good, oblivious to this axis that balanced this beam to this dream full of actors. I only wanna wake up realer than the night I fell asleep in. Make my story seeping from thought processes to the news bulletin. Cause this is more than public outcries of devastation. This is more than the extreme of extremes living in one nation. This is more than the poverty, the fornication by the adulterers who raped me then escaped me before I called for help. See, I called your name when I stood by myself in silence. The silence enshrouded me, clouded me, strapped trying to get ahead, strapped for the bread. I cried for help with pockets picked and 5-finger discounts to live like I was free. Free like fear never lived here. Till my house burned down, I never kissed fear. Still I drip tears, spare me pity. bail in my city where I'm designed to follow, fall, fail. Already getting debt letters in the mail for the bird fly from the nest to set sail. I only wonder where my hoop dreams would've took me before I gave up the bite for the cookie. I wonder how it would be if my mom looked me in my eyes and really taught me how a woman should be. And never abandoned by my dad who was supposed to be the man. Maybe my baby dad would be where he could be. Still I'm here. But I'm still here, so call me what you want. My vision's clear, so call it what you want, but I feel I'm the perfect example of what a woman should be. Just look me in my eye, tell me how I would be, could be, should be, before I die.